Yeah, so let me continue from where I stopped, right? Let me share um, these slides. Okay. So this is where we were. We're talking about UX design. I'm trying to differentiate between the both of them, between UX and UI design. Yeah. So for UX design, I was trying to use an illustration of someone that wants to build a house. Before you actually get to build a house, like in these modern days, not before. Before, people will just look for a land and then they start building without any structure of how the house is going to look like. But like in the modern days, if you want to build a house, you actually get to call an architect, right? And then the architect draws out the plan for the house and then shows it to the owner or the person that wants to build, the client. And if the client is okay with that layout, with the structure, you go ahead to build the house. So that foundational work, that's first work you do before you build a house, is the same. It's the same as what a UX designer would do before you design an app. So the UX designer, according to this illustration, will do user research. So what user research means is the the UX designer would meet people that actually use mobile applications, right? You meet those people, try to get data from them concerning how they would interact with the app you're trying to come up with. You're trying to figure out the user experience designer is trying to figure out if that app will actually work out at the end of the day, if it is designed or if it is produced. So the user research is the fundamental. You try to understand the users, what they like, what they don't like, and then using that data, you know how to structure the app. So according to this, if you can see my mouse, I'm hovering over works. So the user experience designer actually puts this data that has been researched into different templates, into different tools to analyze the data. So you can just like data analysts do, you collect you're not interviewing just one user, you're actually meeting a number of users, so you need to summarize the outputs you get from them. You need to analyze it and synthesize the data. So the user experience designer actually does that too. Then the user experience designer makes sure that the app or the website you're designing is actually usable. So if I design an app and people don't find it easy to use, it means I didn't do the work of a user experience designer. I didn't consider the user's experience while I was designing the app. So a user experience designer would make sure an app is usable. Then for navigation, the user experience designer also makes sure that while you're using the app, you'll be able to move from one screen to another without any without restrictions, without delays. So navigation in an app is actually structured by user experience designer. So you make sure that every screen of the app is connected. You make sure that whenever I'm in a screen and I want to go back, I'll be able to go back. The user experience designer will make sure that the process from the start of the usage of an app to the end is seamless. So that's navigation. So there are forth and back navigations, there are overlay navigations, and so on. But during the class, we'll get to that. So the user experience designer also designs the app. You put all these factors into play, and at the end of the day, use those factors to design the app. The user experience designer also structures the application. Now, if you know a bit about programming, you would know about what we call flow charting. Now, flow charting actually helps you to know the way an app would like the structure which an app will follow. You cannot just be haphazard. So for a user experience designer, the structure of an app will be designed by you. So you would be like, this is the home screen. On the home screen, I want to have this screen next. Now, if this screen is next, a user might make a decision to either do this or do that. Let's say, for example, you open a Jumia app. Have you used a Jumia app before? Jumia.
Yes, I've worked.
uh Now, if you want to get the product on Jumia, when you open the home screen, that will be an element on the flowchart, the home screen, right? Now, if you want to look for a product, let's say you want to buy a phone, you have two options or more than two options sometimes. You might either use the search bar to search for the phone you're looking for, or you click on category to actually go and find the phone you're looking for. So under categories, you see phone. Then under phone, you will check for the brand you're looking for. Then under brand, you will search for maybe the particular phone. So the structure of that app goes from the home screen, and then from the home screen, you have a decision points where a user will decide to either search for the app or use the category section to get the app. I hope you understand that part.
Yes.
So from there, there are still other elements that will form the structure of the app. So the user experience designer actually creates that structure. And the process of creating that structure is called information architecture. So in the process of this course, in the duration of this course, we'll get to that. The user experience designer on this other illustration also makes sure the interface is interactable. So yeah, and then the user experience designer also tries to layer the information in order of preference, that is based on the most important information and the least important. So as a user experience designer, I want the most important information to be the ones that will be presented first, and then the least important information will be the one that will be presented last. I won't want somebody to log into my app and go to maybe let's say I design Jumia app. I won't want somebody to go into the Jumia app and then the first screen you see is settings. The person might feel discouraged and close the app. So setting is actually a good information on the app, but the most important information on the app is the home screen, which means if I want users to be happy with the app they're using, if I want them to interact properly with the app, they should see the home screen first. So it's actually laying out information in the right way. So those all of these I've described here are the rules of a user experience designer. But mind you, user experience designer also does design. It doesn't mean this person is different from this person. You get, you
Yes.
do all of this together. That's why it's UI UX designer. But there are UX designers that do only the background work. They do the research, they do the information architecture, they structure the interface, they structure the content, like the writing on the app. And then there are also UI designers, but in Nigeria where we are, I think we have basically the two joined together. Because I don't think there's any employer that will go looking for just one person when you can get the two in one person. You get me?
Yes, I get it.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, coming to the user experience designer, what they just do, their only job, not their only job, sha, but their major job is to make the interface presentable, make it beautiful to the eyes, use colors, use icons, use text, and so on to beautify the app, to make it presentable. So that's actually the work of a user interface designer. So I hope you know the difference now.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, this is just to elaborate on it. So this what user experience means. User experience, which is referred to as UX2, refers to any interaction a user has with a product or service. UX design considers each and every element that shapes this experience, how it makes the user feel, and how easy it is for the user to accomplish their desired task. So user experience in general has to do with how the user will feel when they experience that app. So you get user experience. The word itself is self-definitive. So how I experience an app refers to the user experience. Yeah, continuing from where I stopped.